Have you ever wondered what it takes to build an entire healthcare profession? I mean, from nothing. Not over hundreds of years, but in just 50. Well, today we're going to dive into the incredible story of how Nepal did exactly that, creating its entire modern pharmacy system basically from scratch.
So, that's the big question, right? How do you even do that? It's this amazing story of vision, super fast expansion, and some really unique challenges. And, there are lessons in here for healthcare systems all over the world. It all starts in a pretty unexpected place. All right, let's go all the way back to the beginning, to the very first seeds of pharmacy education in Nepal. And the reason it got started, well, that's the first real surprise in this story. The journey kicks off in 1972. That's when Tribhuvan University's Institute of Medicine launched the first ever pharmacy course in the entire country. It was a 2.5-year certificate program. This was it. This was ground zero. But get this. This is the fascinating part. This course wasn't really designed to create career pharmacists. Nope. It was actually seen as a kind of backdoor, a way for students to get qualified to take the entrance exam for medical school. So the entire profession pretty much started as an accidental byproduct of a totally different goal. So if that first course wasn't even meant to create pharmacists, how on earth did the profession actually start to take shape? Well, this next phase was all about taking deliberate steps to build a real, standalone professional identity. By the 1980s, there was a huge problem. You had a serious lack of trained professionals and a totally uncontrolled informal market for medicines. The solution they came up with was just brilliantly practical. In 1981, they started a 45-hour training course for drug retailers. It wasn't a fancy degree, but it was a super important fast-track way to bring some standards and knowledge to the people on the front lines. And the impact, it was massive. By the end of the decade, more than 4,000 people had gone through this training. Just think about that. This one program created the first real network of trained folks across the country, and it laid the groundwork for everything that was about to come. Then came the real game changer. In 1994, Kathmandu University launched the nation's very first Bachelor of Pharmacy program. This was the turning point. This was the moment that signaled that pharmacy wasn't just a training course or a stepping stone anymore. It was a serious academic field and a profession in its own right. Once that first university degree was in place, well, the floodgates just burst open. The next couple of decades saw this absolutely explosive growth in pharmacy education. They were building out a true national network. I mean, just remember, in 1994, there was just that one single bachelor's program in the whole country. But that one little seed was about to start a huge educational boom. And the pace was just incredible. Only 6 years after the first one, a second university joins in. Then in 2004, you get a formal 3-year diploma. By 2007, another whole university system is offering the degree. And then look at 2022. 3 brand new pharmacy programs launched in a single year. That is how you build an educational system at lightning speed. Okay, so all this growth in education had a direct, measurable effect on the ground. So what does this system actually look like today? Let's talk sheer numbers. Let's start with the fully qualified pharmacists. In 2010, you had just under 4,000 registered. Fast forward to 2023, and that number jumps all the way to 6,000. That's a huge increase in the top tier of the profession. And it's a similar story for pharmacy assistants, who are really the backbone of the whole system. Their numbers also surged, climbing from just over 7,000 in 2010 to 10,000 by 2023. This is the workforce that's actually staffing the nation's pharmacies. But here's the crucial part. What did all this actually mean for the average person? Well, it meant more access. Plain and simple. More professionals meant more pharmacies. The number of retail pharmacies nearly doubled in less than 10 years, going from about 16,000 to almost 28,000. That is the direct result of that education boom. It's healthcare becoming more accessible right across the country. So Nepal did it. They built the system, they staffed it, but today the country faces a whole new and honestly fascinating set of challenges. Challenges that make its situation pretty unique on the world stage. See, globally, the picture for where pharmacists work is pretty consistent. More than half work in community pharmacies, serving the public directly. Another big chunk is in hospitals. That's the standard model. But Nepal is different. And this is a really crucial distinction. Unlike that global trend, the majority of Nepal's highly trained pharmacists don't end up in community or hospital pharmacies. They work in the pharmaceutical industry, and that creates a very, very unique dynamic in their healthcare system.
And this matters a whole lot because the role of a modern pharmacist is changing. It's not just about dispensing pills anymore. It's about being a true medicine expert. And in places like Nepal, they're often the most accessible health professional for an entire community. So here's the challenge. With so many top graduates going into industry, there's a real shortage of them in public hospitals where their expertise is desperately needed. The issue isn't just having enough pharmacists anymore. It's about getting them to the patients who need them the most. And that really brings us to the end of this incredible 50-year sprint. When you think about it, to go from zero formal education to a nationwide network of colleges, thousands of professionals, and a thriving industry, it's just, like the source material says, nothing short of remarkable. So that leaves us with this final, really fascinating question to think about. The foundation is built, and it's a strong one. But for the next 50 years, the big challenge is going to be deploying all that talent where it's needed most, and really defining what it means to be a pharmacist in Nepal's unique and rapidly changing world.